Welcome everybody to another courtroom episode of Lockdown 23 in 1. That's right, today we're jumping into a sunny California courtroom to witness a road rager get sentenced. Marcus Eriz was sentenced to the maximum possible sentence for shooting at a car on a freeway during a road rage incident that left a 6-year-old dead. Very, very sad, and it gets pretty descriptive in the article when it comes down to what the mother experienced. I can't even begin to imagine looking in the back seat, knowing one of my precious babies just got shot. Can't even imagine it. My heart goes out to the victim's family. Like I said, Marcus Eriz was recently sentenced to the max, and that's what we're going to witness today. But before we get into this clip, if you enjoy all things lockup and crime related, then this is where you want to be. Hit that like, subscribe, notification bell before you leave, and check out my playlist with many more videos for you to start watching today. Alright, California, y'all know what y'all are doing with these lamps. God, this is already turning out to be a beautiful courtroom.
Court will now move to sentencing. The first thing that the court is going to do is go through the fines, and this is required in every case. The court is going to impose a $40 court operation fee and a $30 criminal conviction assessment fee on both counts 1 and 2. Court is also going to impose a $300 state restitution fund fee, and the court is also going to impose a $300 revocation fine. The latter is stayed pending successful completion of either probation or parole if that were to occur. With respect to the credits, the sentencing report does indicate dates up to today, and the court indicates that it will then put in the abstract or in the minute order 1,042 days of actual time, as what was pointed out by the people. Because of the conviction of murder, there are no conduct credits. Would the defense agree with that? All right, on behalf of the people, do you have to take issue at all with the number of days of actual time in custody?
No.
All right, now let's go to the next area, and that is restitution. The probation department said to be submitted later. However, the people did submit a restitution order, and I think that has to do with reimbursement of the victims' compensation fund. Am I correct on that?
Yes.
Is there any other restitution other than what?
This cameraman needs to get it together, man. They obviously ain't got a tripod.
We have reached out to both Aiden's father and mother,
Jeez.
and they both declined any further restitution.
Well, what the court's going to do, my tentative is to execute the restitution order as submitted and reserve jurisdiction in the event that there is further restitution having to do with the impact of the crime. All right, any issue with that on behalf of the defense?
No, he's breathing heavy.
Okay, now we go to...
See, whenever I watch these sentencings, I look at everything down to their breathing. And then even if someone gets sentenced to the max and they don't freak out, you still tell if they're freaking out in their mind, at least to me. I don't know. That's how I look at it when I'm watching these.
The actual sentence. The first thing that the court should do is to impose the sentence on count 1.
Cameraman, come on.
At this point in time, we'll impose 15 years to life on count 1, which is the punishment authorized by the statute. The court will now go to the enhancement. And as I've attempted to articulate, if the court dismisses the enhancement, the court then goes back and determines if the defendant is statutorily eligible, and I will revisit the sentencing on count 1. So the issue for the court today, and I think everybody has agreed, is whether the court, in its discretion,
So he just got 15 to life, man. He's taking some serious deep breaths. He's gulping quite a bit, man. I think it's starting to sit in, but at the same time, I think he has a little bit of hope. 15 to life. So he could get out in 15 if he's really good. Parole board agrees to it, which I highly doubt, but, you know, that's probably what's going through his mind right now, hearing all this for the first time.
So the issue for the court today, and I think everybody has agreed, is whether the court, in its discretion, should strike the additional 25 years to life under 12022.53. The court, in that, has considered the defendant's statements, considered the report that was authored by the doctor that was submitted to the court yesterday. I've considered the fact that the report does indicate childhood trauma. And I've also considered the fact of the age of the defendant at the time. And before I get into the final decision, I'm assuming, as the people brought out, the court is making the report of the doctor as part of the sentencing, so that this constitutes a Franklin hearing. And the defendant has had the ability to set forth the factors in the event that that becomes important in the future. But I just wanted to make sure, are there any other information in terms of the Franklin hearing that the court is required to conduct at this time because of the age of the
He's going to have a hard time in the California prison system.
time of the offense?
The only defense request I have specific to the Franklin issue is that there is some law that indicates about what the defense ability to reintroduce Franklin
breathing
factors
heavy.
after the court sentence as we're going to our parole
Gulping
hearing.
like he said,
And I would
with
simply
big gulp.
ask that if new information that is available, that defense retains the right to introduce that to the extent that the law allows that. I don't think that's really a concern for the court today. But other than that request, no.
Just sentence
Okay,
him
the record on that.
for the second part.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, so now let's get to the factors that the court has considered in exercising its now discretion to whether to dismiss, strike the 12022.53. As I've indicated, I've taken into account what has been reported is the childhood trauma of the defendant. I've taken into account the age of the defendant. I've taken into account also the defendant's statement here. I just cannot draw a connection between the childhood trauma, what has been reported about the lack of development of frontal lobes of individuals at that age, as well as his age, and in looking and reading and presiding over this case, this defendant didn't commit any crimes until this particular day. He didn't. He's driving on the freeways. He's being subject to, I think, what we all see every day. And there was no impulse other than on this particular day. And I just can't connect that in this case, that his childhood trauma or his age was a factor.
So the judge is pretty much saying, you know, that this guy has no kind of record of any kind of anything going on. So, you know, there would be a track record if it was because of something from his childhood. He probably would have gotten into a lot of situations beforehand. It would have been documented. You can tell the downward spiral. But not with this guy. It was just one incident where he got mad. He chose to stick that gun out the car and pull the trigger. And I completely agree. I can't go for it being because of childhood trauma or the age. I mean, this guy's got a full-grown beard almost, man. That's old enough.
I don't think anybody can even comprehend what the rest of her life is going to be about how her little boy died. The court places great weight on that aggravating factor that I'm allowed to do. And as a result, the court, in exercising its discretion, will not dismiss the enhancement.
Another 25 to life,
The court
y'all.
will impose 25 years to life,
Ooh.
consecutive,
Consecutive.
15 to life for count 1, for a total of 40 years to life. All right, the sheriff at this time is ordered to transport the defendant forthwith to Department of Corrections.
Forthwith to the Department of Corrections. Get his ass out of here. Start that 40 to life jank. He's having tunnel vision right now.
Yeah.
Man, oh man, anybody out there that gets any kind of road rage situations, let this be a rude awakening. I always tell Brittany that too, man, because, you know, she gets a little rowdy in the car sometimes. I gotta tell her to cool the hell down, man. You don't know who the hell that is. They're completely tinted out. They could jump out that jank with a pistol. We're all done for. But he was sentenced to 40 years to life, and if I were to guess, he ain't gonna make parole the first couple times around. I think possibly he has a chance of hitting the streets after about 55 years. But like I said in the video, man, you know, California is not the best place for child killers. Let's just put it like that. He's going to be leaning on the Department of Corrections for safety his whole 40 to life. But once again, my condolences go out to the victim's family, man. Very, very sad situation. But stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. I got plenty more content coming your way. And like I said in the beginning, if you're new to the channel and enjoyed, tap that like, subscribe, notification bell before you leave. And as always, until the next time, y'all be easy, be safe, and more importantly than anything, stay free.